I'm gonna call this eyelash story time. My lashes finally fell off. Those last lashes were Flutter Habit. They lasted a week. I loved them, but today I don't feel good. I don't feel good. So I got these cheap magnetic lashes that are supposed to be lightweight, and I'm just gonna try them, and then yeah. This was supposed to be story time with lashes, but as you can see, and I've cleaned it up. I've had a hard time with my lashes, and then I had an incontinence spell in the middle of that, and I'm sharing that because it's a part of MS and it's real life, and I can be embarrassed by it like I used to be, or I can just own it and let people see the realities of what life is like with MS. So the story time, let's get back to that. Story time was that I love podcasts and I love audiobooks. And one podcast that is my all-time favorite is called Imagine Life. And it's really interesting. Look into it. I don't have time to like tell you what it's about, but it's really good. And basically you guess who the person is at the end that they're talking about. My son and I listen to podcasts and audiobooks together. And so we listened to one podcast yesterday, and my son is freakishly smart. And he guessed who the person they were talking about was in less than 10 minutes, just from like little clues. Like he's so incredibly smart. He's autistic too. And so like it just like his autistic comes out in like this like wild memory and like recall and everything. So we turn on the second one, or the next Imagine Life podcast, which I have heard this next one before, and I've heard it before, and my son's gonna love it when he figures out who it is because he loves this person, and I'm gonna try not to give away who it is. But I listened to this podcast while driving to Mayo Clinic with my best friend, and within 10 minutes of starting the podcast, this person says the time in their life that really impacted them is when they were 15, which my son's 15. Their mother was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Their mother was 35 when they were diagnosed. I was 35 when I was diagnosed, and I'm 37 now. And and their mother only lived 10 years to 45 after their diagnosis. And so that was just kind of sombering for both of us to hear. And so I looked up, so we paused. I looked up their mother and they have said about their mother. They are very passionate about their mother and advocacy and everything. And they said that their mother was sick for years before she was diagnosed, and that what really got it going, the diagnosis, is that her walking got really weird, and that led to her diagnosis. And once she was diagnosed, it was already very aggressive, and then she died because of the disease, which I have a whole other post I'm gonna do about that. So we're looking this up, and I'm like, it just completely went over my head because I wasn't affected by multiple sclerosis at that point. I didn't know I was. I mean, I was, but I didn't know it. And so I Marco Polo my friend, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, do you remember this? And she's like, I don't remember this at all. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I remember listening to that podcast, but I don't remember that person talking about it. And I'm like, yeah, it's like really sad. So that person goes on to say in their mother's late 30s, they remember seeing their mother sit at the kitchen table and write out her will, which is something I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm supposed to be picking a nursing home for if my husband dies to go to. And I'm like, what do I do with my kids? Yeah. Okay. So their mother writing out their will, and then their mother died when they were 45. And when their mother was 45, this person was 25 when their mother died. And this person was really surprised to get the phone call that their mother died because she was doing well just a couple of days before then, like MS well, like that the mother was weak, but she was doing well. And anyway, so my point to this is like, there's a lot of times that I want to stop treatment. I don't want to keep trying. I've been through hell and back with these treatments, and they haven't worked so far. They have not worked, and I am progressive now, and even the chemo that I'm taking now is not going to stop my disease. I'm like sick in the pit of my stomach. It's not going to stop my disease. It's only going to slow it down. And that's like how much is it going to slow it down? I don't know. I know they can't really give a prognosis on MS because, except the fake prognosis, but I mean, they have told me they're hoping to get 2 to 3 more good years out of me. I need this medicine to really slow this down, guys. I'm young. I'm having like an existential crisis right now on camera. Anyway, yeah. I can't talk about it anymore.